Most people probably do not pay attention to the Louisiana State or Louisiana Tech Bulldogs or the Louisiana Tech Lady Texters. You heard that right. That's what their women's basketball team is called. For that matter, you probably have never heard of Sonja Hogg. Sonja Hogg was one of the most elite basketball coaches for several years. In 1974, she was brought in to the physical education program there. Louisiana Tech was where she graduated from. So she, you know, as a 28-year-old PE teacher, getting to teach in college, hey, well, she created the women's basketball program at Louisiana Tech. This is a program that at one point under Sonja Hogg and Leon Barmore, but specifically under Sonja Hogg, was elite. He brought about one of the great coaches of women's basketball in modern era, which is Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey was a 5'4" point guard for her. Now, Sonja Hogg won the AIAW Women's Basketball Championship. She also then turned around and won the first ever NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship. You heard that right. She had one heck of a time period. Let's put it this way. Went to state twice in AIAW. That was her first two seasons there. Then went to the Region 4. Both those were 20 win seasons. She started out, they went 13-9 her first season, 19-10 her second season, 22-9, 20-8, then 34-4. That was the year, and mind you, there was no NCAA women's basketball tournament at this point. She was the runner-up for the AIAW National Championship. 40-5 the next year, was in the Final Four of the AIAW. Then went 34-0, was the AIAW champions. Went 35-1 in 1981, 1982, and became the first NCAA national champions. Under She then had Leon Barmore become her head coach. They went 31-2. They were runners up in the NCAA championship. 30-3, NCAA Final Four. 29-4, NCAA Elite Eight. Sonja Hogg was 307 wins, 55 losses, 84.8% winning record. Now, it was an independent at the time. Now they're in like the Conference USA. They had first moved to the American South Conference, then went to Sun Belt, WAC, then Conference USA, where they are now today. They've done okay under their current coach, Brooke Stower. Uh, I mean, seriously, Brooke Stower's done pretty good. She played at Louisiana Tech, so here's another Louisiana Tech person. And I mean, you take a look what she's done. Coached and promoted the game of women's basketball for over 30 years. Started Louisiana Tech's women's program, led the Lady Texters to the last AIAW title. There was actually another tournament after that, and the first NCAA title. Credited with giving Louisiana Tech the name Lady Texters. Head coach at Baylor increased the attendance, even though she didn't win as well there. And in 17 years of collegiate coaching and 3 years of high school coaching, compiled a cumulative record of 464 wins, 163 losses. Recipient of the 2004 Naismith Women's Outstanding Contributor to Basketball Award. Oh, and also a member of the Women's College Basketball Hall of Fame. So we're going to cover this woman. So let's do it. Before we get into the crux of this video, hit like, hit subscribe if you like college sports, because I do college sports, primarily college football, college women's gymnastics, do a little basketball and other sports on occasion, but that's what I do, college. Also, General Robert Neyland, former University of Tennessee head football coach for decades, had 7 maxims to win any game, but they can also help you if you apply them correctly to your life. The second one is play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That is a maxim that can be also applied to your life. Look for those breaks and take it. Okay, I found an amazing article to give you a perspective of what was going on with the Lady Texters. And this is the first part of a series here. Sonja Hogg was 28 years old when she became the head coach of a college basketball program. After spending time at Ruston High School as a physical education instructor, Hogg made her way up to the 16th floor of the Wiley Tower to meet with Louisiana Tech University President F.J. Taylor, thinking it was just an interview for a similar position. Instead, he offered her a job that would change the course of the school forever, to lead a brand new women's basketball program. One Taylor insisted could not be an appendage to an already existing men's program. You hate to tell the president no before you even start, and so I say yes, Hogg said. She didn't play in high school at Bolton and Alexandria, as the sport wasn't offered back then to girls. She didn't coach at Ruston either. I had reffed a little before, and I'd always loved the game, but I was never part of an organized team before that, Hogg said. And Dr. Taylor was never an athletic type or an athlete himself. He was a visionary. He was a real visionary. After I accepted, he told me, Sonja, I want the young ladies to look real nice on the floor and stuff like that. He didn't want us to play double headers with men and wanted us to make it on our own, and off we went. The Lady Texters first took to the court on January 7th, 1975, the first step in what would become a national brand and one of the best women's college basketball programs of all time. The Hogg had no scholarships and a $5,000 budget to work with when she started the Lady Texters program in 1973. No NIL money to dish out back then. A real bootstrapped effort, Hogg posted flyers for tryouts on nearly every dorm and elevator on campus, hoping to find some viable players. Close to 60 women showed up. It was just me. I didn't have a manager or an assistant coach, so I ran the tryout and had to watch all of them play too. She cut the team down to 12 players. The first Lady Texters ever assembled featured women like Mickey DeMoss from Delhi, LaVerne Henderson, and Belinda Jones, the school's first 4-year letter winner. But getting the team was just the first step. She still remembered what Coach Taylor told her about looking nice, so off Hogg went to get the first ever Columbia blue and red uniforms completed with unique sleeves. I drove all the way to Monroe to get those Speedline uniforms made because a lot of teams back then just had on the gym shorts and t-shirts with the numbers ironed on the back. I remember what Dr. Taylor said. That's not what I wanted. I tried to make us look different than the rest. We had our Converse tennis shoes and our colors, Columbia blue and red. Hogg kept her team off the court until the men were finished practicing late in the evening and returned to a makeshift locker room in the freshman and boys' locker room, with the men having varsity, JV, and freshman teams back then. We had to board up the bathroom stalls in Memorial Gym, and I went to raise money in the community to help us renovate it, and I had a friend give us the capital and other stuff too, Hogg said. The Lady Texters changing room was right above the boiler, and even in the winter it was unbearable. It was hotter than a firecracker in there, Hogg said. As she went along in the early stages of building out the infrastructure of the team, she began to pick the brain of a friend and former classmate who worked with her at Ruston High School. His name was Leon Barmore, and at the time he was still coaching the Ruston High boys basketball team. From buying water bottles, basketball, scheduling practices, and everything in between, Barmore and Hogg began to work together whenever their other full-time jobs allowed. Leon's like a brother to me, Hogg said, and it's amazing as time goes on, you look back at the fond memories of what it was done, and it's really unbelievable. Barmore, who joined Hogg's staff as an assistant coach 3 years later, said the legacy of the program starts on the shoulders of Hogg and her tenacity to get things done. We really need to give Sonja Hogg her credit because I don't think anybody but her, with her personality and the way she recruited, could have gotten the program started like she did, Barmore said. Hogg also had to name the new program. And after thinking, she knew she didn't want to be the Lady Bulldogs. It had to be something no one else had. I don't know what they call Lady Dogs anywhere else, but I know what they're called down here, and very conscious of that, Hogg said. I didn't want us to be called that. With logistics in place and a team to play, and a team ready to play, Lady Texters embarked on their journey and finished the 1974-75 inaugural season 11-7 overall, with the team falling to McNeese State at the Louisiana AIAW state tournament. It was a clear foundation that had to be laid. Over the next 3 seasons, Tech turned the corner and put together a string of AIAW regional tournament appearances to get a taste of the postseason. In 77, 33-year-old Barmore joined Hogg on the sideline as an assistant, helping turn the Lady Texters from competitive into contenders. 78-79, Tech went 34-4, made the AIAW national tournament for the first time, losing to Old Dominion in the championship game. Big reason why the emergence of the freshman forward, Pam Kelly, now Pam Flowers, the program's all-time leading scorer. As Pam Kelly, she averaged 19 points per game as a freshman and finished with 1,511 career rebounds and 593 free throws, both program records to this day. Over the next 4 years, she was the main engine for the Lady Texters as the program went on to win its first national title in 81, followed it up with another in 82, the first NCAA tournament in history. But she only got to Ruston thanks to some committed recruiting from Hall. So you're starting to see what it took for Sonja Hogg to build up the program. Now let's get you into a little bit of an interview with her. Okay, part of an interview with Hoops HD. I'm not going to read all of them, but in 81 AIAW tourney title game, you beat Tennessee by 20 points to finish the season 34-0. What was it like to face Pat Summitt with the title on the line, and what did it mean for you to win a title? That was a phenomenal season. We were rolling pretty well. Pat and I became good friends in the 70s, so we decided to schedule a game against each other every year. Pat had not won any titles at the time, so it was not a big deal, as if we had played them a couple of decades later. Tennessee kept pressing us, and we just kept beating the press down the court. Pat stuck with it the entire game, and we ended up leaving everything out on the floor. Every time Tennessee came to play us, I would send our own bus to transport Pat's team from the airport, and I gave her an extra car to use. The night before we played, our president would invite both teams over to dinner and give her a special bottle of perfume. And then after we played, Pat would come over to my house to wash Tennessee uniforms. By staying independent and not joining a conference, we could invite all the powers in the women's basketball to come play us. USC, Old Dominion, etc. There were some years when people would actually scout tickets to attend our games, which was unbelievable. I do not care how many titles Coach Gino Oriamo wins, there will never be another Pat Summitt in terms of promoting the sport and speaking to young coaches. There are not many coaches now who give so much of themselves. I could not hold a candle to her. In the 82 NCAA tourney title game, you beat Cheney State to win the first ever NCAA women's title. How big of a deal was it at the time? There were actually 2 national champs that year, as Rutgers beat Texas in the AIAW title in Philly. We had lots of fans who came to our title game. Cheney State coach Vivian Stringer is still one of my good friends. Our fans did not expect us to win by single digits. Our team was so loaded that they thought we should have won every game by 30 points. People were surprised today when players go to UConn knowing they will not get as much time playing as if they went elsewhere, but they just want to accomplish their goal of winning a title. The stability of Pat and Gino's coaching staff also helped them a lot. In the 1983 NCAA title game, Kim Mulkey missed a shot at the buzzer in a 2-point loss to USC. Did you think the shot was going in, and where does that rank among your most devastating losses of your career? We probably should have tried to get the ball inside at the end of the game, but I am so proud of everything that Kim has accomplished as both a player and a coach. Cheryl Miller was a freshman who set all kinds of records, and USC also had the McGee twins. So the Trojans dominated the sport for the next 2 years. We never like to lose, but you have to respect the competition. So this is one last question. When people look back on your career, how do you want to be remembered the most? I would like to think that I had an impact on Title IX and helped pave the way for a lot of other people. I think back to the pioneers like Miss Wade, as well as the coaches from my era like Summit K. Yao. Back in the day, we would go recruit against each other in the morning and then go out to dinner together at night. I doubt that still happens today. We can be enemies during a game, but we were all friends off the court once the game was over. We are mostly dinosaurs now, but there are still a few young ones left. I feel like a trailblazer to remember where we were and then were then and see where we are now. I hated to lose a recruit, but I never took it personally. I tried to be kind and had a love of people. I enjoyed every aspect of whatever career I had at the time. My glass was always half full. So this is, one of the best talking about being one of the best. Sonja Hogg left Louisiana Tech to enter private business, specifically in marketing, after a highly successful 11-year run. She was 39 when she left. Think about that for a minute. She left at the age of 39 after technically having two national titles, the AIAW and the NCAA. This is, and when she went to Baylor, she built that program up into something that, you know, may not have been the best, but she made it to the WNIT finals at Baylor. She built it into something that Kim Mulkey could take over and bring in Leon Barmore. Uh, I mean, three national titles for Kim Mulkey. A lot of the ways that Kim Mulkey dressed, she got off of Sonja Hall. You look back, now I didn't put them on here, but you look back at some of the outfits that Sonja Hall wore, you realize that Kim Mulkey had a reason for being that way. And I'm going to be covering some of the players and some of the people that came through Sonja Hall. I mean, Deborah Rodman, Kim Mulkey, those are just a couple of the names. This is somebody who built a dynasty in a short time. Unfortunately, she was only there for 11 years at Louisiana Tech. But think about that for a minute. For 11 years at Louisiana Tech, she had two national titles. She was runner up for two other national titles, had two Final Fours and an Elite Eight. She really was a powerhouse. To have gone from starting a program to going to have two national titles, you can't beat that. You can't beat that with the stick. And to think of the problems, you just heard all of the things that she had to do to build up this program. I mean, seriously, she had to do a lot. Um, she took over. Olga Fallon was the start of Baylor. Then it was followed by several years of Pam Bowers. But then they brought in Sonja Hall. And in all honesty, she was somebody that did a lot good at Baylor. She got them getting to a point where they could be noticed. And then through her connections, got Kim Mulkey to come in. Sonja Hall should be recognized for the legend that she is. I mean, seriously, she is a legend in women's basketball, but people don't pay attention to her anymore. And that worries me. It does, because we forget our roots. Nowadays, we talk about these things. We don't realize here's a woman who had never played any organized basketball ever in her life. She coached a national championship winning team that was averaging 51.2% field goal percentage as a team. You had a player that you recruited a player on your team that is considered one of the best rebounders because guess what? Her brother, who in the NBA was considered the worm was amazing at rebounding. And his sister was better, and she drafted her in. Kim Mulkey, as a 5 foot tall, 4 inch point guard, did great things. And I'm going to be showing you some of the stuff. If I can get it past the censors and everything, you're going to see how good she was. We need to talk about those things. We need to go back and learn the history of women's basketball to understand what it's become now and why there are certain things that get me frustrated when I see that these teams are out there having all this money, these players are making all this money, and yet they're not playing anywhere near what Sonja Hogg could get out of a basketball player. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. Hey, folks, before you leave, if you can't become a member via my YouTube channel, which that's for my thinker, I've also got sports. I've got a Patreon. If you really, really want to help me out, I would be much appreciated. But hey, hitting like, hit subscribe, hit commenting, all those things really help me out. Have a good day.